I don't know if any of you lot ever used to watch the X-Files back in the day. Great show, really enjoyed that show. But in Mulder and Scully's office, and they were UFO investigators, basically. And in their office, they had a poster on the wall. And the poster said, and a picture of a UFO, and a poster said, I want to believe. It didn't say I do believe, it said I want to believe. And it was a phrase that always stuck with me. And I had it today. I don't mean I saw a UFO. I mean, what I had today was a transfer rumour. And I thought, I want to believe this. Do I believe it? No. Let's say that straight away. But I want to. And I just really want to make this point because probably when I do this video, I'm probably going to talk about Raheem Sterling as well. The one I want to believe is Ezekiel Palacios. Well, firstly, Ezekiel's a great name anyway. Why would you not? Why would you not want to? In fact, we'd have to call him Pulp Fiction or something like that, wouldn't we? We'd have to call him Jules. Anyway, another reference. There you go. You know, I like X-Files. You know, I like Pulp Fiction. I think I should probably talk about John Victor first. Let's just get this out of the way. So I don't want to do a video on it on its own. We've got a Here We Go from Fabrizio Romano. That's the official, unofficial rubber stamp when a transfer is going to happen. He types into his Twitter feed, here we go. 10 million euros, I think, for John Victor. I've settled on John Victor rather than Victor John. I've said everything I've got to say about it. He is going to be West Ham's next goalkeeper, so I hope he's very, very good. That's all I hope. And the rest has been discussed. Apart from that fee, 10 million euros. Yeah. There was one other bit to add to it, which is a little bit of meat on the bone, and this was from Sky Sports. Sky Sports said West Ham were interested in Mads Hermansen, but we never got close to his valuation. So there you go, a little bit more detail there for you as well. Right, let's deal with Ezekiel. That's what we'll do next. Sometimes you hear of a player, and I said the other day, I couldn't even have told you anything about El Hadji Malik Diouf before we signed him. In fact, when we got linked with him, I was scurrying around trying to find out anything I could about him. Somebody typed on it the other day in the comments, said it was hardly like he was an undiscovered gem. He was for me. I'd never heard about him. I don't watch the Czech league. I didn't know anything. But sometimes we get linked with a player who I have heard of and who I do know, and I'm not talking about Raheem Sterling. We'll get to him in the second part of the video. And Ezekiel Palacios, I love this player. I absolutely love him. Now, it's Sky Sports. We'll blame them again. They have said, so their update today said that West Ham remain in the hunt for a central midfielder, a sort of number 8 type central midfielder, if you like. And they mentioned 2 names, Palacios and Jacob Ramsey. Jacob Ramsey, we know, we've already discussed him at length on this channel on 2 or 3 videos. Palacios is known to me. I don't say this with any kind of hindsight whatsoever. In fact, when we were going to play Leverkusen, Gio always asked me before each video, players you admire. When we do our preview, Gio says, players you admire in the opposition team. I named him, Palacios. And on our Patreon, I actually said, he is the type of midfielder that West Ham need. There you go. So you can imagine when I saw the bulletin this morning, I thought, what? Hold on. Oh, I want to believe. I want to believe. I don't believe, by the way, because he's that good. He's so good. I had to go and check. Not him. I know as much about him as I need to as a player. He's what I would call, everyone's got fancy names for everything at the moment. He's what I would call a metronome. He really is. He's perpetual motion. He is very much what I would consider to be the engine room and what West Ham needs in the middle. I just think he's full of energy. He's got good pace. He passes and moves and just retains the ball so well. So well. He's exactly what you would need as almost that hub between your defensive midfielder and your attacking one. If you want someone to knit it together. When I was talking the other day about just that one player that we're short of, this guy would do it. This guy would do it. But he's too good. He's almost too good for West Ham. I struggle to find a scenario where West Ham sign him. So anyway, so I had a look just to see. So I typed into Google Ezekiel Palacios news just to see who he'd been linked with recently, because he's going to have been linked with everybody all the time. But let's just state this. He's already at a good club. And I looked, now, as you remember, when we played by Leverkusen, Xabi Alonso was the manager there. He's not anymore. He's gone to Real Madrid or whatever it is. I think that was the story I saw was pertaining to that move or links to that move. But I saw something which was he was linked to Real Madrid. And that wouldn't surprise me. I think that's my point. If Palacios, they got Valverde. There's another one for you. If he moved to Real Madrid, I wouldn't be surprised. I would not be surprised at all. And I don't really watch much of the European game. I watch a bit of Champions League. I watch a little bit of this, that, and the other. Very rare that I actually know who these players were. Habib Diarra, when we were linked to him, I didn't know. I had to go and have a look. A lot of them, Arden Jashiri, I had to go and have a look. Onyedika, I had to go and have a look. I didn't need to look at this guy. He's brilliant. He's 26 years of age. You'll all know who he is. Wow. Yeah, please let it be true. I want to believe. That was what I wanted to believe. One that was, I think, just as surprising, but for very different reasons. So I just was not expecting that name, Ezekiel Palacios, to pop up today. Even less so the next name that popped up, which was Raheem Sterling. Okay. Chelsea are willing to loan Sterling out. Right. Okay. Well, I bet they are, firstly. I bet they are. Before I give you my opinions on Sterling, pointing in the direction of Hammers Chat's Patreon. Links in the description below. Got a free 7-day trial. But the lowest tier we got on Patreon is £3.60, just £3.60 a month. This is the time to join, really. We've got loads and loads of additional content coming up now. Loads of it, because obviously the season's about to start. It's basically our third Hammers Chat channel. And it's the best way that you guys can really support Hammers Chat. We've got loads of additional videos. We've got competitions, giveaways, tickets, the lot. All I would say is, I could talk about it for ages. Go and have a little look. Click on the link below, or just search on Google, patreon.com/Hammers Chat. Go and have a look. Go and see what you get for your money. Maybe give it a free trial. Maybe sign up. Give it a whirl. And we'd really, really appreciate it. Anybody that can help out with Hammers Chat as we get into this busy period would be much appreciated. And some people do say, well, hold on a second, I get enough. There's enough West Ham content out there. You do enough. You upload videos every day here, and Gio uploads videos every day. It's true, but the only reason we can do that is because a patron and because we're able to sit here uploading videos, which is exactly why I can react to Ezekiel Palacios and exactly why I can react to Raheem Sterling. Well, this one is a shock. Now, Raheem Sterling has... I've never been massively convinced with Raheem Sterling, and I'm not saying he is without talent. I'm not saying that. I'm going to make you feel like the transfer window's gone on forever now, by the way. I'm going to say you something. You're going to think, oh, damn, I'd forgotten about that. All right? The name I'm about to tell you about was linked to us in this transfer window when it started. In fact, just a couple of days before it started. Do you remember the start of this? It opened up for 3 or 4 days, then there was a Club World Cup and it closed down for 6 days, then it opened up again, this transfer window. We were linked with a player, the first link, the first proper real story of somebody that we had been offered. It was Jadon Sancho. Doesn't that seem like a long time ago? It was at the start of this window. And when we were linked with Sancho, it was quite funny actually, because I gave Sterling a thought. Now, for me, Sancho is a skillful player. He's got loads and loads of skill. He's got loads of tricks. He's got the craft, but he lacks the direct running and outright pace, which is exactly what I think Raheem Sterling's got. And I always used to think, if you could combine them, if they had a child, if you could combine their qualities, good player. But individually, I've never been sure. I think he worked really well for City. I guess you could say he had his good spells at Liverpool. And obviously he was very, very good at QPR. The thing is with him, he is 30, Raheem Sterling, but he's got a lot of miles on the clock. I'd have to go back and check, but I'm pretty sure he was playing first-team football for QPR at 15, 16 years of age. A lot of miles on the clock. And he's not got better. Well, I don't mean ever throughout his career. Clearly he got better from the age of 15 to like 20, probably at his peak at 26, 27. But what was interesting was he's played under Potter at Chelsea. And there was a period where, well, I was going to say he wasn't doing well. Chelsea weren't doing well under Potter, clearly, because he got the sack in the end, didn't he? But Sterling had come under a lot of scrutiny because they paid good money for him, right? And I remember an interview with Potter making excuses for him, and I had to go and research it today. I couldn't remember it word for word, but it was basically Potter saying, look, the team are doing badly, which means Sterling's doing badly, but he's a top player. You've got to say top. Just being a top player is not enough. You've got to be a top player. He's a top player, and he is. I'm not sure he said. Well, I don't want to paraphrase. I don't want to do it incorrectly. He might not have said world-class individual, but it was along those lines, so we'll have to paraphrase. It was making excuses for Sterling. And I was trying to think, does that mean Potter likes him or doesn't like him or doesn't? Anyway. And I thought about it for now, and West Ham being linked with him. So he obviously didn't do too well last season, went out on to Arsenal on loan, and they had an option to buy him, and they chose not to. Now, again, you see the parallels of Jadon Sancho, because Chelsea had the option to buy Sancho. But they didn't. They didn't make it permanent. But I think they would very much subsidise his wages. But for me, it's almost like everything is wrong with this. I think that old thing we talk about, never sign a player that's, I think it was George Graham that said it, never sign a player that thinks he's doing you a favour. I do think he would be thinking he's doing us a favour. I didn't like what accompanied, this was on talkSPORT, this particular report, by the way, the Raheem Sterling one. The player is keen to remain in London. Do you know what? Maybe this is half his problem. If you really want to, at 30 years of age, most players should be thinking, well, you should be bang on it. You should be in your prime. As I've already argued, I think maybe that's not the case for Sterling, but he shouldn't be thinking like that. He should be thinking, no, I can still do a job at Premier League level. He should be going anywhere where he thinks he can make an impact. From him personally, he should be saying, well, you know what, I'll play and I'll move, but if I stay in London, I don't like this. I don't like that type of stuff. So that is alarm bells ringing. How motivated is he? We got Graham Potter constantly talking about the group. The group has personality. Who have I heard? Magic Juff, Fulkrug, and Tadibo. They've all said a key word in recent interviews. Family. Like a family. I'm not sure Jared Bowen used the word family, but he was unequivocally complimentary about the sort of brotherhood that there was around the squad. In short, I think there's very much a feel-good factor amongst the players. And I think clearly Potter and his coaching staff have done what they can to try and encourage and to try and grow a really good bond between the players. I don't know anything about Raheem Sterling, but I do remember him once. I saw a video clip of him back-chatting Brendan Rodgers when Brendan Rodgers was Liverpool manager. You can see it's quite... He gives him a rollicking, a public rollicking then, in front of the whole group, Rodgers does. I don't know. I'm just not sure we need a player who I think's coming here doing us a favour. I want someone motivated. That I do. I know you could probably make the point, well, hold on, what about this Palacios? Maybe he's coming and doing us a favour. I don't know. I'm just dealing with this as the thoughts as they enter my head, really. But yeah, for me, it's a Palacios yes, and it is a Raheem Sterling no. It's not to say he's a bad player. It's not to say I couldn't be convinced. It's not to say I'm absolutely certain he couldn't do a job for West Ham. But where would he play? You'd imagine he's sort of playing the sort of area that maybe Somerville would play in, maybe the sort of area we might want Guilherme to come through. I think I'm seeing more problems than benefits with Raheem Sterling. I was surprised to see it. Two big surprises today. Two big surprises. The one thing I would say is as I said, I don't want to keep being whingy about, you know, people coming in. I want to look forward to people coming in. I want to look forward to how West Ham are playing. I honestly do think that we're one midfielder away from being a functional team. I'm not saying brilliant. I'd stop worrying about a lot of stuff if we brought in that midfielder. I just wasn't expecting Palacios' name to be thrown in the ring, so to speak. Hat? Hold on, no, the towel gets thrown into the ring, the name gets thrown into the hat. Getting mixed metaphors there for you. But I can only hope that we bring in this John Victor. I hope he's better than some people are saying. But like I said in yesterday's video, I do think this is important. I know I said I wouldn't talk about John anymore, but I do want to make this point again. I can find you a video of any player that shows you he's crap. I can find you a video of any player that shows you he's brilliant. You can chop up anyone's best bits and provide a video. You can chop up anyone's worst bits and provide a video. And I've been left totally bewildered by it. And I'm talking about the John Victor stuff. So I don't know. I just don't know. As obviously there's a load of people that don't want him, and because he's not Hermansen and he's not Suzuki, so people don't want him. I'd have preferred Suzuki, as I said on numerous occasions. But I think I'm worried now that people are seeking and finding the crap stuff to reinforce what they think, which is this guy's going to be poor. I don't know. I hope that's not the case. I hope there's more good stuff. And there's a bunch of people who are trying to be, you know, say, well, hold on a second, let's look at his record. I can't remember who it was. I do apologise. Somebody who clearly watches the Brazilian game, who watches football out there, left a comment on yesterday's video, not Mike's fan cam from earlier, but yesterday's video about the goalkeepers, and he said on there, he said this is a good keeper. So I'm also aware that there's people saying that as well. But anyway, I've just got to wait. You know, we're getting him. That's it. It doesn't matter. We could carry on moaning about Suzuki and Hermansen all we want. But it looks like we're not getting him. We're getting this guy. So I hope he's good. And if he is, then okay, brilliant, right? But I still think this midfielder is the key one. And I'm clinging on to hope. Not even belief. I'm clinging on to hope that West Ham have managed to save some money so we can buy a really, really good midfielder. Do I honestly believe that? No. But like the poster said, I want to believe.